What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video, I'm going to talk about whether or not becoming an owner-operator is worth it. Why am I making this video? Well, because I was asked in a past video how much more responsibility there is as an owner-operator. Could I give details on that? And I thought that was a great question, and I will give some detail on that. And I will also talk about whether I think it's even worth it or not for you to become an owner-operator. And when I say you, I'm talking to drivers in general, people in trucking in general. Is it even worth it to become a truck or a owner-operator in trucking? And but first, before I get into that, I do want to clarify, I have said this before in previous videos, but I do want to clarify that I do believe that 90% of truck drivers should stay company. I'm going to get into why I believe that, but 90% of drivers out there should stay company. And so I'm going to first start off, though, by talking about what do I think qualifies you financially, in my opinion, to go out and make that jump, to go out and take that risk of starting your own business. Because a lot of people look at, oh, I'm buying a truck. Well, you're not just buying a truck, you're starting a business. I don't care whether you're getting an authority. I don't care whether you're just buying a truck and leasing onto another carrier. It doesn't really matter. Even if you're leasing a truck from a company and you're a lease driver, you're starting a business, and it just happens to be a trucking business. So the way I look at business in general, if I'm going to start a business to where I'm the sole owner and take on that risk, I want to make sure that I can make a lot more money than I would as a company driver or an employee. Doesn't matter what the industry is, but I want to make sure, if I'm going to become an owner-operator, that I can make significantly more money than I could as a company driver, and preferably about 50% more than I could as a company driver. And I'll get into why that is. But what qualifies you to be an owner-operator, in my opinion? In my opinion, and this is why I don't recommend 90% of drivers to become owner-operators until they're in this position. And I'll get into, again, why that is. But financially speaking, in my opinion, if you cannot pay cash for your equipment, if you cannot do that, plus have about a $30,000 emergency fund for that equipment above whatever that truck costs, and that is for any major repairs, right? Any major repairs, anything that could go wrong with that truck, you need to have the amount in cash to pay for that truck. Also, above that, have an emergency fund. A lot of people don't agree with that, but I'll tell you what, if you're in that position starting out, your chances of success are in the high 90%. And your chances of success, if you just put, $20,000 down on a truck, you have no emergency fund, you have, $500+ a week in truck payments, your chances of success in that scenario is about 10%. That's your chances of success. And how do I know that? Because I've seen multiple drivers throughout the years fail at becoming owner-operators, and they failed. Over time, they failed. And the main reason they fail is because they get into financial trouble. They just do not have the capital to start out. They do not have the capital to run a business efficiently. Trucking takes a lot of cash to operate. This is a cash cow business. You can make a lot of money, but you also can spend a lot of money due to repairs and downtime. And in my opinion, why do I say you need to be able to pay cash to start out? Because one, you're starting out with very limited risk, very low risk, because you're starting out without a truck payment. You're also starting out with that emergency fund so that you can pay for any major repairs, right? But not having a truck payment, what does that do? It frees up cash flow. I got told, oh, you should have put money down to build business credit. Well, in trucking, you don't really want to do that when you're first starting out. And why is that? You don't want to do that, again, because cash flow is the name of the game in trucking. You want to have as much cash flow as possible coming into your business. And if you're debt free and you're not paying $500 plus a week to the bank to pay off that loan, then you've got that extra $500 plus going into your bank account. That profit, you get to keep that. The bank doesn't get to take that money. You get to keep that. Let's also say, you have a breakdown. You have a $10,000 truck repair. Also, you have to get a hotel room to wait for that truck to be repaired. Also, you have downtime, lost revenue because your truck is in the shop. It has to get fixed. Well, having a truck payment, man, on top of the repair, on top of the hotel costs and everything, you're having to service that truck payment. And so it's just added expense. It's added risk. That is why I say 90% of people, should not be owner operators, because if you're not in a position to pay cash and have that emergency fund, which most people are not in that position, if you want to get in that position, I'll talk about how to do that a little bit later in the video. But that's my opinion. If you do not have the financial, situation to do it, then I would not do it. If you're not in the position to do exactly what I just said, you don't have to agree with me, but these are all just my opinions. And I truly feel strongly about this because I have seen so many drivers fail at being an owner operator. And again, it's mainly because of finances as to why they failed. And, aside from, I would say finances is number one. Then number two, I would say just not understanding business on a fundamental level, not having the knowledge or the experience in trucking, and also the knowledge about business to operate and run a business efficiently. You really do need to get educated about business in general, not just trucking, but business in general in order to succeed in the trucking business, because trucking is a business just like any other business. And if you don't understand the fundamentals of business, you're not going to succeed as an owner operator. So that's one, the financial aspect. Two, the responsibility. I'm going to get to that guy's question. What's the responsibility over being a company driver? Well, you have to maintain this truck. That's number one, the maintenance on the truck. You have to keep up with the maintenance. You have to constantly inspect this vehicle. You have to constantly maintain it properly, right? You're not going to maintain it the way your big trucking company maintains it. You're going to be getting oil changes a lot more frequently than you did as a company driver. But you have to stay on top of that because, again, a breakdown costs you mega money and mega time. You're not a company driver anymore. If your truck goes down, you don't just get to swap it out and get in a new truck and be on your way. No, in your company, there's no company to pay for your hotel costs and your downtime. There's none of that, right? And so you have to understand that. I think the biggest risk really is the equipment itself, right? And that's, again, why I say, if you can't do it debt-free, don't do it at all. Like, I'm not against borrowing money too. I want to be very clear. I'm not against borrowing money in trucking. I'm not. But when you're first starting out and you have one truck, I would definitely not recommend doing it, with a loan. I wouldn't do that because I don't believe in that. Now, a lot of people disagree. That's totally fine. But I do know that I have a better shot at success as an owner operator than somebody who has a bunch of debt, somebody that has a $500 plus a week truck payment. And again, that's why, because these breakdowns cost so much money, not just the repair, but the downtime. Plus, if you have payments, it's even worse. It's just added risk. And again, trucking, the name of the game is cash flow. And you want to see if you want to see whether being an owner operator is worth it or not. And I made a video about this in the past. It's one of my last videos. But if I can't make at least a 50% return on my money above what I could make as a company driver, to me, it is not worth it to be an owner operator. And it's going to be very hard for you if you have a bunch of debt starting out in your business to make that 50% plus. It's going to be very hard to do that. And if you can't do that, why not just stay company? There's plenty of company jobs out there that pay you $90,000, $100,000, $110,000 a year with zero financial risk. And what could you do if you want to be an owner operator and you don't have the financial means to be an owner operator starting out? Like I just said, well, you could use your company job to save up and buy that truck in cash and have that emergency fund. And then, yeah, you could take your, $100,000 a year income and turn it into $150,000 to $200,000 a year income as an owner operator. And you can make, $150,000 to $200,000 as an owner operator. You can do that, especially if you're debt free. You can do that. However, again, there's that extra risk. But if you're debt free, all that money that you would be paying towards payments, that would be going into your bank account, and that would actually increase your return. It would lower your risk. It all boils down to, do you have the finances to do it? Do you have the finances? Also, do you have the knowledge? Like I just said, if you do not understand business, and just be honest with yourself, if you're not educated about sales, if you're not educated about marketing, if you're not educated about accounting, that's another thing you have to do. You have to do your own accounting. You have to set aside money to pay your own taxes. Do you understand the difference between an LLC and an S corporation? Do you understand the fundamentals that make up a business? Do you understand that? And then do you understand how this industry works? Also, I don't care if you're leased onto a company or not. If you do not understand business, and specifically the trucking business, plus have all the financial means like I just talked about, if you do not have that, you are not going to succeed in trucking. You're not. You're not going to succeed in the trucking business. You are not. You would be better served being a company driver, saving and investing your money elsewhere. Or if you do want to be an owner operator, wait until you are in the position to be an owner operator like I just talked about. There's no sense in rushing. There's no sense in getting out here and risking it all to make an extra, $50,000 to $100,000 a year, but have all this debt, right? Have all this risk, because you could lose everything, right? You can literally lose especially if you're in debt. If you're not in debt and it's a debt-free company, okay. Like I said, your chances of success are in the high 90%, 100% it is. But if you start out in debt, your chances of success are very low, very, very low. And again, that's my opinion. All of this is my opinion, but I would not recommend 90% of drivers be owner operators for this exact reason. Yes, you have more freedom, you have more flexibility, and all of that. But as the old saying goes, freedom is not free. You have to earn being in business and earn success in business. And look, I waited 5 years to be an owner operator. I had the finances to do it after about 2.5 to 3 years of driving. I had the money, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad I waited 5 years, because I have way more knowledge about trucking. I have way more knowledge about business now. I have, way more experience in this business, 100%. And I know that by waiting that long and taking my time and not rushing into becoming an owner operator, my chances of success are a lot higher than if I did it a lot sooner. 100% they are. And so anyway, I hope I clarified in this video whether or not it's worth it, because you just listen to what I say and think about it. Think about whether it is worth it to you or not. Because again, if your company job is great, if you're making $100,000 a year, $90,000 a year, whatever, and you have zero financial risk, and you don't have the money to be an owner operator, you don't really have the funding to be successful at it, why take that risk? That's the moral of the story. That is the moral of this discussion. And this is all my opinion, like I said, but I wanted to make a video about this because I know that people were wondering if it is worth it to do this or not. And also too, I wanted to touch on the different responsibilities, the extra responsibilities in this video for the guy that asked that question. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching this video. God bless, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.